Jenna, not smart politically. Well, we could have taken the word politically out of it. But,
And now, Cheese Wits.
I said, Siri, pull up Jess's Zoom. And it says, I don't see anything for Jess's tomb. So you're not dead.
That's like last week when you were not on the show and Wally was trying to remember the name of the other place that was not Gino's, the Philly cheesesteak place.
Oh, Pat's.
Yeah. And I said Pat's, and he said something else, and I said, no, Pat's. And he said, cats? Yeah, cats. And I said, no, Pat. I was yelling, Pat's! Pat's!
Pat's!
He did not. I don't think he ever got it.
I think you should have yelled, oh, God. What was Siri's name? Gail.
Yeah.
Gail. I'm sorry. I'm at the car wash. I totally forgot today was Wednesday.
Well, you sound like you're feeling better than last week.
There was a lot of depression going on.
Yeah.
Losing the bowling alley. There still is, but today I'm medicated because I wanted to be here.
Okay, good. You sound better.
Yeah, I feel better.
Good. I'm glad.
So, that's subject to change in about 10 minutes.
Well,
it's with you all and your liberal bullshit.
The world is on fire, so.
Wally's liberal bullshit's what gets me every fucking time.
I know.
Put you in a deep funk.
Wally, how come we can't see you?
Wally, I'll show you deep.
Oh, no.
And he's back.
Hold on a second. Let me
whip this out.
Now, Wally, while you're trying to figure that out, let me ask you something. You have a Samsung phone, right?
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Did you get the update?
What update?
There is an update to the whole operating system on Samsung phones.
And it turns it into an iPhone. It's great.
Basically turns it into an iPhone.
Yeah.
No, there is not.
It changes fucking everything. I resisted updating it for as long as I could because I was seeing all these people on TikTok complaining about it. And fortunately, I had seen what some of the changes were going to be ahead of time and how to revert back to what I had. But it changes things, and it doesn't tell you how to go back to what you had.
Well, I got to tell you.
And so I'm looking forward to you getting that update, because if it took me as much time as it did.
Well, I definitely got, yes, I got an update maybe last week sometime, and I did update, but I use so little in my phone. I use it as a phone and a texting thing, and that's it for the most part.
Yeah, but it changed my notifications. It changed my lock screen. It changed what the notifications look like.
Well, it changed a couple of the, like, the camera looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Settings icon looks different.
It put this.
So you got the update, huh?
It put this
but
stupid
nothing I
little
noticed.
bubble at the top with the battery, but I didn't know that's what that was. I thought it was the temperature because they were the same at that moment.
Oh yeah, I saw that because I've got that up there. It says, yeah, and the clock is a little tiny on the left hand side, and
Oh no, I put that back the way I had it.
I just use it so little, you guys, that I just don't even. I see it and it just doesn't affect me because I use my phone as a phone, and that's about it.
Well,
I don't use it for much.
I don't think you need to use it for much to be affected by the update, Wally.
It's an encumbrance to me. I just don't.
Well, it's an encumbrance to everybody.
I suppose if I did more, like I relied on it to get email and use Facebook and everything else, if I use the tiki-talkie and all that, I might be like, oh my, what the fuck is going on? But I just don't.
Just remember, technology knows what's best for you.
Yeah.
AI said he's a dummy.
Speaking of, have you guys watched the latest season of Black Mirror? Or any of the seasons of Black Mirror?
No.
It's basically about how technology is going to fuck us all.
Oh,
Well, I think it already has.
You
Yeah.
show for that.
Yeah. But even to a bigger extent, Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
So how's it going to happen?
To a science fiction extent. Well, every episode is a different example of how.
Okay.
So it's not really like a cohesive show. Every episode it's kind of like Twilight Zone. Every episode is its own little mini movie. Yeah.
I just want to live the Severance life.
What is that? What is that on Netflix?
Yeah.
Can I just do Severance? Just somebody sever my work life from my real life,
Listen.
and then just sever my real life at that point.
I have such a hard. I watched that Severance and a couple of other shows. I have such a hard time watching some of these utopian shows because they're just so fucking
Dystopian?
I
Yeah,
was about to say, is it
what did I say?
utopian or dystopian?
You
What did I
said-
say?
You said utopian, and that's a whole nother thing.
No, dystopian. I meant, yeah. I fucking have such a hard time looking at those shows because they just seem so stupid to me,
Hmm.
even though I see it coming.
Well, I mean, I think The Handmaid's Tale isn't all that far fetched.
I haven't, and again, I haven't watched an episode of it.
Hmm. Have you ever
What's-
read
no,
a
what-
book? I mean, the book.
No,
Hmm.
what's it about?
That's exactly right.
It's our current society, but it was written like 50 years ago. It's about taking control over all women, forcing the ones who are able to have babies for couples who cannot. They're in slavery. The women who
Great.
cannot have babies have to oversee the women who can.
Where's the problem? Where is the rub here? There is no rub.
I think
Mhm.
Wally's just looking to get hit, don't you?
So do they get $5,000 each to have a baby? For
No,
each
they
baby
have to do it for free.
Oh, well, you see how liberal Trump is? He's at least giving $5,000 per kid.
Yeah.
That's right. And don't you all forget it.
He is on the cusp of just fucking liberalness. He's going to get drummed out of the MAGA movement.
This
Mi Presidente.
dumb motherfucker.
What do you want to say, Jess?
Do you really think he's dumb, Jess? Really?
Well, let's find out after he reopens Alcatraz, Wally.
I know. How funny is that? Is too funny. I find that to be hysterical myself.
Absolutely. I mean, and didn't they say there's like lead paint or all that bullshit there?
Well, think about it.
Probably.
It's probably all lead pipes, lead paint. It's falling a fucking apart.
There's no running water.
It costs too much to get shit out there. What man?
But we're cutting the budgets. We're
Well,
saving money.
Well, you know what it'll end up being, and most like it should be. The guards will all be men,
Uh-huh.
and there'll be one nurse who will be a woman because only women should be nurses, as we know.
Yeah.
In the
Thank
Trump,
God.
when you get that sponge bath, you want it to be the sponge woman.
Hey, who do you want? Who do you want giving you a bath? A Fanuc?
Right.
No.
So who are they going to get to do this? You know what's going to happen? He's going to fucking go with it and then say, "We're going to send the military out there.
Mhm.
They're going to be the guards." It's just fucking. He's just insane.
Mhm.
And what guy? Like, I'm thinking of myself. I mean, there might be a lot of guys that could get who would want to go out there and have that job, be isolated for 3 months at a time as a guard, because
I don't know if you want to be
the incel
isolated
guys.
with criminals, though.
The incel guys, they'd fucking feed off that. They'd be happy. They'd have somebody they could laud over. Since they can't find a woman for themselves, they're like, well, I'll laud over these men instead.
Mhm.
There'll be a lot of ass fucking,
Mhm.
I think he's just idiotic. He's just dumb.
For sure.
He really is. I think I posted up. He's living in a world of where James Cagney is still the bad guy running around doing bad things. Oh, you dirty rat. James Cagney is leading everything. That's the world he lives in. He lives in like this 30s, 40s kind of life, the way life used to be.
Here's what makes me laugh, because watching him and listening to him speak is bad enough. But I heard somebody read a transcript of him talking about opening
insanity.
Alcatraz. And it's just words. It's just, he doesn't say anything that means anything. It's just words. It's just interesting, strong, weak with muscles.
Jessica,
yeah.
for Christ's sakes, Bigly.
What?
Okay?
What?
Bigly.
Big.
Huge and Bigly. It's going to be the best thing ever. It's going to be great. It's going to be
Lots of people say.
Lots of people say it's going to be the best prison they've ever seen.
You know, Jenna, not smart politically. Well, we could have taken the word politically out of there. But she's funny because she's like, why does this guy just keep saying everything's huge and great? And I'm like, he's a fucking buffoon. That's why. Okay. And he doesn't know any words.
Like, I actually had a conversation with a friend the other day, and I said, the thing that's getting me is I genuinely cannot tell if he's that stupid or if he thinks we're all that stupid.
I think there's a fine line. Because I think, listen, you know, this will be an uncommon thing to say. I think he's very smart. I think he's very, very smart. And I think that he is playing a role.
Yes. He is an actor appealing to the lowest common denominator, and he knows how to reach them by speaking their Bigly language.
You know, and he appeals to them because that's all they know. That's all they fucking know.
If you look at who voted for him, or a lot of the people he transferred over to vote for him, you don't need to have a college education to be smart. But that being said, a lot of the folks that voted for him and are uneducated white motherfuckers, or not college educated motherfuckers who just said, yeah, he's right, he's smart. He's fooled them. He thinks just like me. There's no way he's amassed a couple $1 billion by being an idiot.
These are the people that, though, you know, he was elected by the people that think, now WWE is real. That is real. You got it right. God damn it, Jerry Lawler for vice president.
We are not deplorables.
Good God.
Yeah, you're right, but he's like an actor. He plays the role, or he's like any of those conservative talk people.
He plays the part that he needs to play.
There's no way that like I can't even fucking think of his name anymore. The Fox asshole, the guy on Fox who also did radio. What's one? No, the guy on Fox.
O'Reilly?
No,
he's gone.
The dark-haired one.
Sean Hannity?
Yeah, Sean Hannity. It just can't be he's that same guy as a dad at home. It can't be.
No, and I always said this about what's his name? He's dead. Had the talk show.
Rush,
yeah. I always said about Rush that I didn't believe that he believed any of the shit he spouted on the show. He was an entertainer. He was there to get a rise out of people.
That's correct.
And he was there the same way that Stern got ratings because people listened to try to be mad at him.
Yes.
People listened to Rush. Some people listened to Rush because they thought they were learning something real. But some people listened to be mad.
And
the people that listened to Stern, didn't they like do a survey in the movie?
Yeah.
In the Stern movie that they said, you know, why do you listen to Howard Stern? To see what he does next. Okay. Yeah. Then you quiz the people that hate Howard Stern. You know, why are you listening? And why are you listening longer than the people that love him? Because I want to see what he's going to do next.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah. I think you see and in order for those people to stay alive, to continue to be relevant and create revenue, they have to evolve. And so I sat on I worked in enough radio stations where Limbaugh was playing in the background that over the years you heard him evolve.
Mm-hmm.
to get
Absolutely.
even more crazy,
Yeah.
more vitriolic.
What's the most outrageous shit I can say? Yeah.
Because that's where, as the stuff he was saying in the very beginning of his career became the middle, he moved to the right more and created a new right because there wasn't enough people who would pay for his bullshit in the middle. I mean, people in the middle generally don't pay for that shit. It's the people on the far right and the far left who pay and support all the wackadoodle stuff on either end.
But when we had remember the lightest or the heaviest thing he would do was talking, pardon me, I think I'm Foster Brooks, talking about the feminazis.
Yeah. Feminazis.
Yep.
You know, and that was the worst thing that he would do is talking about the feminazis. And then it got into...
And that was in the early 90s.
And then we got into the deep state. Remember the deep state? And then the Trilateral Commission. And then it just kept going from there.
I know people who are still talking about the deep state and how we're all being controlled and manipulated by the deep state.
Well, you notice that in that area where there's a lot of, because all the money in radio, at least, or in broadcasting for wackadoodle theories is all on the right.
Yeah.
It's all it's either religious based or it's deep state or crazy anti-woman, anti-gay. It's all in that very conservative area, but it's more conservative than even conservatives are, right? It's all over there. So those fuckers have to continuously get more crazy in order to continue to make revenue so they can sell their fucking stupid books.
I feel like the same people who believe their shit are the ones who were like the biggest fans of Maury Povich and Sally Jesse Raphael. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we interrupting your lunch?
Yes.
I like Maury.
For entertainment, but you didn't believe that dude was really the father.
Maybe.
I think that Maury and Sally Jesse, I think that their people were even.
And what's her name? Jenny
Jones, I think.
Jenny Jones, yeah.
Wasn't that the one that had people killed?
Yep.
Yeah, somebody came on and said he loved his friend, and then
then the guy killed him because he was like no homo, and then he had to kill him.
and she felt terrible. I think there was a trial about that, about whether that kind of
hey, the guy should have known his place. Okay.
And Jenny Jones won that.
Yeah.
But I think those are the absolute craziest of the crazy.
Yeah.
Who not only believe in the political part of it, but believe in fucking, I was abducted by 3 little men that came out of the sky in a saucer. They're the same fucking folks who believe in that. And I keep losing my fucking train of thought on what I wanted to say about these fucking cocksuckers. I just can't remember. But anyways, with Sean Hannity, or Laura, whatever her Ingram.
Laura Ingram. Oh.
Or that really who's the really thin crazy who we don't hear much from anymore, conservative. She's thin, blonde, looks almost like a fucking ghost.
Megyn Kelly?
No, but you can throw Megyn Kelly in there. Oh fuck.
Yeah, the one that wrote the books.
Yeah, a lot of books.
And
Ann Coulter.
Yeah.
I cannot, other than maybe Ann Coulter, who is a vampire. I can't believe that these people are the people you see. The people you see on TV are the same people in their real life with their children or their relatives. I can't believe that that's who they are. Just like I can't believe that fucking the sweetest of the sweet people are that way in their real life either.
True. I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene is exactly who she pretends to be.
Oh, she's a trailer trash bitch.
Yeah.
No doubt.
God, I'd love to fuck her.
I want to see Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett go head to head.
Well, who's the other one I want to fuck?
Jasmine
Bobert.
Crockett's tough.
Bobert. I want to see Bobert naked. Grandma Bobert. I want to see her naked. I want to see exactly what's on that tramp stamp.
I'm thinking Bobert's been ridden hard and put up wet a lot of nights.
You know what? I'd like to make her wet, Wally.
But she's even become, as the MAGA has gotten crazy, even they are sort of, they're not crazy enough.
Yeah.
They're not even crazy enough anymore. That's what I was going to say. So it seems about every 10 years or so, the Republican movement changes. It becomes there's MAGA, and that'll be around 10 years, 15 years. Before that, it was, there was the Contract with America that was around for about 10 years. And then in between there, you don't remember the Contract for America?
Nope.
The Contract for America what was around, and then what was the one in between? What was that other Republican movement? The something, I can't remember, but they had another movement with Newt Gingrich and those guys. He was also part of the
Newt Gingrich. Are we going to bring up fucking Ross Perot next? What the fuck?
No, Newt Gingrich. He was the contractor with. He was part of that Contract with America, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and then what was the one right after that? They had another one that everybody was all weirded out about. I forget what they were called, but it was another. And Democrats seem to just be Democrats. They're just Democrats all the time. Oh, they're in search of they don't come up with like catchy names for the next new movement of the Democratic Party.
That's part of where the Democrats fall down, is that they aren't cohesive. Republicans get behind a thing and they all do the thing, and Democrats are like,
and even if they don't know what the thing is.
Yeah.
Right.
They have no idea what the thing is or what it's actually going to do to their constituents. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do that because it's a Republican thing. And Democrats are like, oh, I guess we could vote for this even though it's a Republican thing, which
I don't know what it is.
Which,
yeah,
on its premise, I don't think things should be voted for because it's Republican or in spite of it being Republican or vice versa. But I also think that if Democrats were cohesive right now, Chuck Schumer wouldn't have voted to keep the government running when they were trying to get it shut down.
If Democrats were cohesive, they wouldn't have fucking done what they did with Joe and Kamala there, mid-election cycle. But they're not cohesive.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They can't keep anything together, which is why I like to label myself as an independent.
Same.
Yeah, I'm with you. The independent is much more important now. I think the Democrats' big problem last time is everything Republicans do is the world's going to come to an end. Well, it fucking is not going to come to an end.
And the problem is here too, it's the attitudes that you display towards people. You've got the different sects on both sides. If I'm in the middle, let's say, and I say to a Republican, the sky is blue. And they said, no. That's more of a hazy and kind of, I don't know, but no, you're wrong. Okay. If I say to a Democrat on the extreme side, hey, the sky is blue. Fuck you! It's fuck you! It is fuck you! So, and it's those two sides that are chopping off each other, and that's why we've got a country that's so fucked up.
Yeah, that's true.
Meanwhile, and 100 times over, most everybody lives in the middle.
Yeah.
But
mostly.
The people who get hurt are the fucking loudmouth dumb fucks who keep spewing their shit.
Well,
hey, do you guys remember being 17?
Vaguely.
So Dagan is 17, and I have been driving with him every day. He goes for his driver's license tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
So every day.
When did I become Canadian?
6 or 6:30 or so. I go out driving with him because he's going to drive in Jody's car because she has a smaller car than mine, and it might be easier to handle. So I've been taking him out driving each day. And man, he is exact. If I was him when I was 17, which I think I was a know-it-all asshole. I can tell you.
No, that never happened, Wally. That never happened. You are not a know-it-all ass.
17-year-olds know nothing, but yet know everything.
Yep.
And they are the example of a little knowledge is a dangerous motherfucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just talking about it. So I in my conversation I had with him yesterday, I said, I know that the world looks completely crystal clear to you right now, and that you believe everything there is to know is known, and you got to know it's going to change tomorrow.
Listen, I wish I could go back to a time when bills were none of my business.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was talking to this girl the other day that I bowl with, and she's like 27, 28. She just broke up with her fiance, and they've been together for 10 years since they were in high school, and blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh my God, my life is over. And I'm like, Kristen, let me tell you a little secret, okay? Fuck you, okay? I would suck fucking dicks in a pivot position to be 30 years old again and know what I know now. I would love it.
Yeah.
So don't give me this woe is me shit. You've got time to reinvent yourself. Shit, by your age, I was already divorced once. So yeah.
It is. If I could go back with the what I know now, it's to 17, I would be a different dude for sure.
God, who wouldn't?
I think a lot of people might not.
Wouldn't have gotten into radio. I fucking know that.
Yeah.
If I could go back to 40, if I could go back 20 years, I wouldn't change anything. Because my 40 to 60, my mature life,
I would.
my married life, my happy life, it hasn't gotten less happy. I might change one thing. I might change how I spent money. That's about it.
Yeah.
I was very frivolous, or I just spent. We spent too much of what we earned.
Mm-hmm.
That I might change that, but in general, I wouldn't change very much. But from 17 to, well, Chris said 23 or 24, I would change a lot.
For shit, yeah.
And I probably would stay in radio, but I think I would have been more aggressive than I was trying to climb the ladder to work bigger markets and to be more. I think maybe because I think the talent. I think I had the talent to, but I also think I was very comfortable in where I was. I was okay with being really good in a small environment where maybe I was less brave than I would want to be. I'd want to be more brave and take bigger chances and be a smaller fish in a bigger a pond, I think.
More often than not, I made changes because I felt like I had no choice. Job changes because I felt like I had no choice rather than some pursuit of, a step up in my career. Yeah. I made the steps up in my career, but a lot of times it was not because I was trying to make a step up. What it was I'm going to make this change and it will be a step up in my career. Like if I have to go to a different station, it needs to be an upward move.
Right.
Unless I'm completely out of work, in which case beggars can't be choosers.
I hear that. I hear that, girl.
And actually, Frederick was technically a step down until I became PD. And I didn't know I was going to be PD when I got that job.
Hey, neither did Doug.
Neither did Lisa.
you neither did Lisa. Yeah. I mean, you were in the right room at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Christ, if Phyllis was in the room, she would have been PD.
Right.
Yeah, it's okay to get lucky though.
Yeah.
It's okay to get lucky. Yeah, I do think, but just looking at his 17-year-old self right now, because he's a bright kid. He's engaged. I think I said this last. He's engaged. He participates. He's National Honor Society. He's a great student. He's a good athlete. He's got all of the things that usually don't mesh, or you're either the good athlete with the mediocre grades, or great grades but you're completely a nerd. The total circle is or the big circle, it usually isn't there. But man, oh man, he's no different than I remember being at 17. He just isn't.
I think they pretty much make 17-year-olds the same across the board.
I think you're right. I think you're
because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Well, yeah.
But you don't know you don't know it.
But you don't know you don't know. I mean,
Right.
look, I know that you know that I know,
I know.
that you
that.
want to fuck me up the ass. All right, Norton?
Hamala. Norton. What a great bit that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great
I
bit.
haven't heard that bit in forever.
Oh, god damn. Well, because all the shit. So I was listening to, funny you say that. I was listening today to classic hits, pop classic hits, which mostly are 80s songs.
It's mostly the stuff we played on the radio.
Yeah, it's Bananarama. It's I'm expecting to hear like guitars and guys with a lot to hair. No, it's Bananarama and it's the Go-Go's and it's Brian Adams. But I'm listening to it, and maybe it's because I came up in that era of music. That fucking music is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
When I'm not listening to, the country music stations I need to listen to for work, I will pull up our classic hits or our 90s number one hits or, stations that play music from that era. And I agree with you. I love the music from back then.
I think from about 77 to about 93 or 94, the fucking music is kick ass.
No, the music was great. I mean, I've built radio stations around that music because it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Somebody up here in Frederick put on a new station, and they displaced the Christian AC with this new format of 70s and 80s soft hits, trying to do something of like a yacht rock.
Oh, wow.
And I listened. There's one piece of imaging that sounded like it was done by the telephone lady. Okay. And then there was like 4 songs in a row with no imaging, just Segway City.
Oh.
And then segue into 2 commercials that I guess were left over from the Christian AC, since it was like for, Helping Hands Home Services and, Ferriman's Funeral Parlor. But they go back to the music with the telephone lady again and play another song. And I'm like, God, somebody asked me to give them their opinion of this. So I went and penned to my email, said, my opinion of this radio station, which I'm not going to name. This is the most boring radio station I've ever heard in my life. And you ought to call it the Lullaby Channel because people are going to be on 270 falling the fuck asleep. Okay. I mean, it's horrific.
Mm.
It's horrific.
Are there no live bodies? It's just all. And no voice tracking. No.
Nope.
Why bother?
Right.
Exactly.
Why bother? Why invest any money into that fucking? Because we all know it's just so easy. It doesn't need to be said, but it needs to be said that this is why you're getting radio stations are getting their asses kicked by Spotify.
Dude, we put on a beautiful music station. It's beautiful music down in Alabama. We put it on. Okay. And it sounds like a beautiful music station, but it's not boring because we're actually tracking it. Okay. So, but it sounds like the old school 13 past the hour and Ferrante and Teicher on there dueling pianos. Plus we heard from the Lawrence Welk Orchestra. Thanks for listening. More music coming up. I mean, it's just, there's somebody there. At least there's something. Yeah. And there's something between the records, at least.
When I was a kid in one of the places I grew up, Worcester, Massachusetts, there was a station, WSRS, Radio 96, with a beautiful music. And that's exactly what it sounded like.
Jingles work.
It was so, and it was nothing that I would listen to as a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 11-year-old. It just wasn't but man, that was a fucking popular station with 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds.
It absolutely was. And the same deal here. We had, are you ready to hold it in real quick, Wally?
Yeah.
WGAY, WGAY 99.5. And it was all
not
beautiful.
There's anything wrong with that.
Not there's anything wrong with being a WGAY.
No.
But I think it was up till 93 they were playing beautiful music. And then they started adding in Barbara Streisand and shit with the beautiful music. But this was the number one station in town forever. You know, and when you're growing up with your grandmother, you know, guess what? You're listening to show tunes at 1. Okay. You just are.
With your grandmother, did she not have a bowl full of big pink and white Neckos?
No. Grandma had it alternated between the puffy peppermint things.
Oh, those are so good.
And,
so good.
And the non-Perel? I don't know.
Oh, love non-Perels.
Yeah, and those. It alternated back and forth week to week. Like it was like fucking clockwork. You'd go to the PX and get one or the other.
We have a big thing of non-Perels right now in the pantry.
There was this old couple who lived next door to me when I was growing up, and they were the Meldrums. And there was like a path in the hedges between our houses. So it was almost like a secret. It wasn't really a maze.
Secret garden.
It was just the hedges were not lined up, and so there was an opening between them. And at one point, when I was probably too little to be outside by myself, and I went over and knocked on their door and asked if they had any cookies. And it turned out they always had those tins, those round blue tins.
Oh, Christ. Butter cookies?
Yeah, the butter cookies. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. And so I would go over there all the time and get cookies.
You were smart.
Yep.
Wow.
But that may have been bad. It may have set you up for later in life when you said, you know what? I don't feel so great about stuff. Let me go get some cookies.
Let me go next door and see if the old lady has any cookies over there.
Yeah. Jess will be out there walking in the neighborhood in a sugar stupor, knocking on no arm lady's door. Gonna need those dance sugar shortbreads. Looking for them. Okay.
Those were the cookies you had at church. You know, church next to the coffee on Sunday mornings.
I didn't
I'd
go
get
to
one.
a place like that.
Well, you didn't have that, but
No.
I'm going to show you how old I am. You guys
I would only eat
the
the pretzel ones.
Oh,
I'd only eat the pretzel ones.
Yeah, with the little
And then I finally realized, as a fat kid, they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all the fucking same.
Yeah, they just had different shapes.
So,
but the pretzel ones did have the like crystallized sugar glazed on top.
That they did.
Yep.
But that began my love with being a fat child.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm still having that love, being a fat child.
Now I want some milk.
Now I want a cookie. What is that? Nonpareils. Wally's got nonpareils. And a lunchbox. Oh,
of course he does.
And a tin of butter cookies.
There he is.
That's a different kind, but yeah, same thing. You have no sound.
That's because he's got nonpareils in his mouth.
It's the same thing. It's just Walker's.
Yeah.
Butter shortbread cookies. But now you know, I am old.
Wally is that old person.
I am old. I have the tin. It's a tin of butter sugars, and I have a big box of I like nonpareils. And though they're not readily handy, we also have the butter mints. That
the little puffy mints.
Oh yes, because they're just great. But those are something you should never eat. You know, a lot of restaurants have those at the checkout or at the cashier. Don't ever take any.
Well, no, because people put their grimy ass,
they put their piss hands right in that bowl.
Wait a minute, you're telling me they don't use the tiny fucking spoon that's sitting there? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't even want to touch the tiny spoon after those people have touched it.
Even if they use the tiny spoon.
It's like going to a buffet. You know, do you really want to eat what everybody else is fucking sneezed over?
No.
But all I can think of is when you say they get the little spoon, I can see people like spooning out a couple of mints and
sticking it in their mouth.
Into their mouth.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they put it directly in their fucking gullet.
And then go vote for Trump. It happened exactly.
And then
like
put it
that.
back. Oh my god!
Same people.
It's so. The thing is, though, you say it, Jess, and we laugh, It's so goddamn true.
I know.
It's so goddamn true. It's that's what makes it's one of those I want to cry funny. It's funny, but man, it makes me want to just.
It would be
fucking
way
cry.
funnier if the world wasn't on fire right now. Did you just threaten that cat?
Everything's fine.
Yeah, because it was going after
Nothing to
the
look
other
at.
cat. You can't see the little cat.
I see
The
one
big
cat.
cat was going after it.
I only see one cat and a dog.
Well, that's because I just went like that and chased the cat out.
Oh.
Because big kitty, the queen kitty has been here since she was born many years ago, and she does not like that little kitty is here. That's the feral cat we rescued from the barn that somebody dropped off.
Oh.
And so whenever she gets an opportunity, she attacks her. So I have to give the little snappy finger to her, tell her not to bite her. Otherwise, they get to fighting. You don't want to hear cat sounds.
Mm-mm.
Kind of annoying to hear pussies screaming. It makes you want to go. Ooh. Look at you can't see it. Wait, maybe you can. Do you see her sitting in the doorway wanting to attack?
I see her sitting in the doorway.
Yeah, right in the space. She was just eyeballing her. And Henry keeps her under control. When she starts getting out of line, Henry goes over and says, "Hey, cut it out."
Good boy, Henry.
Yeah, Henry's a good guy.
Hello, my name is Henri.
He's a good
It's
guy.
Henri, and I'm going to steal your girlfriend.
He is very. Hey, speaking of Hegseth that you brought up a minute ago, Jess, how about Walls? They just dump him. They just say, "Okay, you're going to be now the ambassador to the UN."
Yeah.
It's just somewhere along the line. I have to believe. I don't want to believe this to be true, but I think it's true that people have pictures, audio, and video of Trump doing horrible things or things he doesn't want people. Yeah.
The cats?
What's that?
I said to a cat.
To a cat.
Maybe to a Rottweiler.
Could be to a cat. Could be.
Could be
anything.
anything.
I believe if they came through with a video of Trump in Russia being pissed on by prostitutes. Remember that was a rumor years ago. I might believe it's true and not just an AI bullshit.
But then how do you explain Dr. Phil being in the cabinet now?
I know. Yeah, what's going on with Dr. Phil?
Dr. Phil's in the cabinet?
Yeah. I don't even remember what his position was besides like circus monkey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because who was he interviewed? He interviewed Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this happens. This is another thing because it's so easy
Dr.
to fool
Phil.
Republicans or people who want to be not Republicans, but ultra conservative, because it's so easy to fool them and to get their money. People who are no longer viable to the middle and the mainstream will gravitate towards the wackadoodle side to continue to earn. And that's what Dr. Phil's doing.
So he's not in the cabinet. He has been tapped for the Religious Liberty Commission.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that means.
What it means is Dr. Phil is not any longer an earner the way he used to be when he had the Oprah channel. So now he's moved, like I said, as far as he can to the right because it's easy to steal money from those people.
Mm-hmm. I guess he was following ICE agents around earlier this year, which, by the way, there's some big controversy over the ICE stuff here in Nashville. Like
what's going on?
They just one day were just driving around. It looked like randomly pulling people over, and if they were not white, putting them on a bus. Like there's no court. These people did not have any criminal records. There was no warrants out for them. They were just scooping them up and putting them on a bus. And when the Democratic politicians in Tennessee were, trying to throw a fit about it, the GOP came out and said that the Democrats are promoting letting criminals be free. And they are not going to apologize for bringing criminals to justice. None of these people that they picked up and put on a bus and sent out of town were criminals.
I saw some video of ICE agents with an axe or a pick breaking the windows of a car to pull out a guy, and they were calling him the completely wrong name to deport him.
Yeah. And
the story was they were saying, Antonio, get out of the car, Antonio, and the guy's name was like Juan.
Did you see the story about that? The SWAT team like raided a house with a woman and her kids, and they had just moved in like 2 months earlier. And the people on the warrant, the people named in the warrant, didn't live at that house anymore. And nobody would listen to this woman. And they pulled them out. They wouldn't let the kids, the little girls, get dressed. Like they pulled them out in the middle of the street. And then after everything calmed down and they finally realized they had the wrong house and the wrong people, they were like, mistakes happen.
I didn't see that one, but I did see the one where two middle-aged Asian people, not knowing whether they were Chinese or I don't know, Korean, ICE came to their house to gather them up, looking for Venezuelans or something who hadn't lived there in about a year or something like that, but they didn't realize it. And again, just like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
Turn your day upside down, break your door. Well, I don't know that they broke the door, but, just cause general grief and agita and just go, oops.
Yeah.
My bad.
Our bad. Oopsies.
But like it's a basketball game. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
And like nobody's injured. Fucking people are injured. This is the whole. I was having a conversation about due process with my grandson.
Aja.
Aja. I was having a. Do you think that's a word I shouldn't use? That ICE might want to come get me because I used a word that they're unfamiliar with.
Well, look, I wouldn't answer my door.
What about we have a town here that is cooperating with ICE.
Of course you do.
Yeah, one town. They've tried to get several to cooperate, and they're not. But one has decided to. They say it's a great learning exercise for their police department.
Oh, wow.
Well, I believe the town is Wells, Maine. We are a lily white state.
Yeah.
We do not. I mean, we have people of color and we have immigrants here in Maine, but generally speaking, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, you could go blind if the sun is bright enough from the reflection of the people that live here off their skin. It's sort of like Wyoming and Montana. There's just not a lot of variation, except for the summertime, how much tan you get.
Well, Rachel doesn't live there.
No,
Rachel diversity.
Yeah, no, Rachel diversity. No, Rachel does not live here.
No,
but it's unbelievable to me that anyone would even like cooperate with that here, because it's unnecessary. It just isn't necessary. We are not plagued. I understand Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, states that see a ton of illegal immigration or undocumented immigration, and then there are some I think in Wisconsin and some of those areas too. They have a high percentage.
But the point is not necessarily about illegal immigration; it's about due process.
Right. Oh, it is about due process, but I was just talking about the cooperation of local police with ICE to work with them, but not to fucking go around and just scoop people up, trailing around with a bus. Get in the bus. Get on the bus. It's an Eva Cassidy song. It's just fucking. It is horrible, and I hate seeing that we have I don't hate seeing it, but I think it's unnecessary that we have a city or a town involved, a town of maybe, I don't know, it has 6,000 people in it, maybe. Like, oh yeah, probably a big undocumented immigrant community there. You couldn't find an immigrant if you looked.
I saw a story.
They're called workers.
Right. Well, in some parts of the state, they sure do. They pick bunches of blueberries and potatoes and other stuff.
I saw a story about a guy, and I can't remember which state it was, but one of them obviously bordering Canada. He was trying to do DoorDash. He took a right turn when he should have taken a left, and he ended up across the Canadian border, and then just tried to turn around and come back, and got detained.
Well, whose fucking fault was it?
Oh my God. It's easy to do. And in Maine, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Because there's so many logging roads.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of logging roads, which you can suddenly find yourself across the border without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And then in order to get yourself out, okay, Alexa, help me get out of here. Or, hey, Google Maps. And you end up coming out the right way. Like, well, what were you over here for? What do you mean over where?
Right.
Well, you're back into they have no idea they've been in Canada. They just know that they're lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do some deliveries on unmarked roads and have no fucking clue. I'm not that far up north though, but I think that happens quite a bit in the some of the border states.
Yeah.
Viv'll find you.
There is a lot of Viv'll find you.
Yeah, there is.
There is a ton of Viv'll find you going on,
and then Viv'll get you.
It is sometimes, and again, so lately for news, I try not to watch television news. I try now mostly to read Reuters and AP and Smart News and try to put it all together and try to figure out what the fuck's going on. And I don't want to talk about that. The other news scares me. And not because it scares me, just because it's so fucking wrong most of the time that it or jaded or let's push you in a direction. It just sucks. And one more thing I want to say when we were talking about Trump, what the fuck is with getting rid of funding to NPR?
All right, you communist, you've gone over the fucking line, Wally.
and PBS.
What the fuck?
Mr. Rogers would not be happy right now.
Mm-mm.
Oh no, I fucking Big Bird ought to find the big dude and fuck him up the ass or something. Put that Big Bird dick up his ass.
Well, he had to cancel PBS because there was. Did you see that there was like a bit with Oscar the Grouch talking about Trump having trash everywhere?
And the Trump Towers that he created with the trash cans. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, was that a meme of some sort?
No, that was a real thing, and it was very un-American.
Now I'm gonna have to search that out. It was really a PBS produced thing.
It was Sesame Street.
Yeah, look for Trash Towers.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That's outstanding. I wouldn't suspect he would even understand what the hell was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got his little minions. Who's the little ball-headed minion? His little minion that looks a lot like what's his face from The Simpsons. Looks like Mr. What's his face from The Simpsons. Who's the bald guy in The Simpsons? The owner of the rich guy.
Oh, Smithers.
Smithers is his worker.
Right. So the boss of Mr.
Yeah. What's his name?
I know. Yeah.
Excellent. That guy.
Yeah. That guy. Yep.
But his
name.
Trump's right hand guy or guy that was Scott or whatever his name, he looks a lot like him.
Mr. Burns.
Mr.
Burns. Yeah. The white supremacist, the racist on Trump's. Well, you'd have to look far to find out which one wasn't a racist.
I was gonna say, the racist on Trump's cabinet. Yeah. Okay.
But I can't even remember that guy's. I think it's Scott. He's kind of balding too, I think, but he looks like him. He reminds me of him. Those fucking guys sit around and just come up with ways to let's make this a more Christian country and let's make it fucking more white. Well, dude, this country ain't been white in a long time.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what pisses them off.
Well,
And
yeah, they've been talking about how they're gonna, oh no, be the minority for decades.
well, they will be the minority as it goes.
Yeah. And
That's just
and it's fun. The only reason they're scared of being in the minority is because of how they have treated the people who have been in the minority.
they'll be long dead before they become the minority, though.
Mm.
I mean, they'll just be long. They're not going to live. That's going to be another fucking 50 years or so.
Mm.
You know, I would have to get, because we're still, about almost 80% white as a country, or Caucasian, Caucasoids, Caucasian. It's going to be a long time. If they want to fight that, I can produce some babies, white chicks. You got to start having babies, because the other folks are having babies like crazy. And that's what you got to do. Have babies.
And there are some white chicks having brown babies too. So
that's okay too. At least
No,
they'll have-
no, no,
fight
no,
them.
no, 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 no,
Mhm.
no, no, no,
Yep.
no, no,
it's
no,
happening.
no.
It's happening.
Okay. No, 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 no intermixing of the races, for Christ's sakes.
No intermixing of the races.
It's
That's
happening.
exactly right. No, 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 no.
You know what? What are those the black and white cookies? We want none of those.
Oh, you want some burgers? You want some burger children? Or no? What did George Jefferson call them? Oreos and zebras.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of that, I think we were less racist then than as a country, or the people who are racist in this country now were less racist when back then, when a George Jefferson, when you could have a TV show on where a black man could make comments about a white man about racism and nobody lost their fucking mind. But if that
Are
happens
you
now, people
sure
lose
nobody
their
lost their
mind.
fucking mind, or did you just not know about it because Facebook didn't exist?
Oh no, I think people didn't lose their mind. I mean, I lived in a city then, and
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was a lot of
People just lose their mind.
I guess it's all right, man. So I don't know. I just had that was a lot of that.
Well,
I think it was
people
a
kept
lot of
things
quiet
to
racism.
themselves. People have been a whole lot more openly racist or whatever else because they can hide behind keyboards. So back then, people were keeping their racism to themselves.
Right. Well, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
In my time in living in Massachusetts, which is probably the most racist of the New England states, there's a lot of racial tension in that state, or there was. And when busing came around, the Klan never came and marched. The fucking Klan has marched in Maine 3 times, which is fucking ridiculous. I think maybe it was more polite racism in the 70s. I don't know.
For sure.
I mean, polite meaning it was hush hush.
Yeah.
You said it.
That's
you said it
exactly
like you
what
say. You say it like you say cancer.
I really thought growing up in Ithaca that I had grown up in this town that had no racism. Like
No.
I had said several times in my life that Ithaca is such a diverse town because of Cornell University. Every
The
culture
gays are
in the
not
world,
racist.
every culture in the world is represented in Ithaca. And I used to talk all the time about how great it was to have grown up in a town that didn't have any racism.
No.
And then some people I know who don't look like me went, yeah, there was. I was shocked. And then I started seeing stories. When the George Floyd thing happened in 2020, I started seeing stories from some of my black and brown friends that I grew up with, things I never knew they had experienced because it just wasn't openly talked about.
My experience was when I lived in this.
Oh, we lost Chris. I guess we offended him with all our racism.
I think ICE just came and grabbed up Chris.
I guess so. Oh, there he is. You escaped ICE, thank goodness.
Racism and bigotry was when I lived in a metropolitan city, when I was living in Massachusetts, in the second largest city in the state, a real city. I experienced less talk of racism, less. I never heard the N-word growing up as a kid in the city, where in my classroom it was 50-50, white to black, Hispanic, whatever. It's when I was in the country, when I was in the rural areas where racism was, people who didn't have exposure to black people seemed to have been the most bigoted and racist, because they were just going off of word of mouth and not personal experience. That they're just people, motherfucker.
Here's where I experienced the worst racism in my life. From my mother.
Yeah, I believe that.
Same here. My parents raised me. I remember having conversations with my parents when I was a little kid about how we don't treat people differently just because they look different. So imagine my surprise when in college I started dating a black man. And my mother...
No.
You're like that Muppet. Yip.
No.
I started dating a black man. My mother lost her fucking mind on me.
I can't imagine.
We fought.
You mean Charlotte lost her mind over that?
Yeah, I know. So I was surprised though, because my parents had taught me that everybody's the same. Just because they look different doesn't make any difference. And then I started dating a black man and found out we don't really believe that.
You know what's weird, Wally?
Go ahead.
It's clear you do go back.
No, what?
As the dad of a daughter,
you do go back.
As the dad of a daughter who brought home a couple of non-white guys who she was dating, it never even occurred to me that they were not white.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, this is my guy, Sam, or this is my guy.
My mother said, they're going to treat you badly. And I was like, where was the outrage with the white dudes who treated me badly?
That doesn't matter. Listen, I grew up in a house.
Allowed to treat you badly, Jess.
Everything was fine in my house when I grew up. There was no black, white, none of that. My niece brings home somebody who's a little darker for Christmas. Okay.
For Christmas.
And for Christmas. Gift. Yes, it is. It's like, guess who's coming over for dinner?
Everybody in the house was saying ho, ho, ho.
No, it wasn't even that. It was the fact of he left and somebody said, well, what are we going to do? She's dating a N. And my niece says, no, he's not. He's Cuban. and somebody else that's what Cuban, my dick. Get him the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's, yeah.
I remember, it just never occurred to me to ask my daughter, are you dating a black guy? It just all I would ever say to her, and all I ever say to her is he kind to you?
Yeah. Now, I dated a guy, a radio guy. I dated a radio guy who was, he got, you're going to laugh when you hear his radio name. So I will preface it by saying he was a New England sports fan. He was a huge Celtics fan.
Okay.
So his radio name was Cornbread.
Oh, Cornbread Maxwell.
And everybody called him Cornbread. Like he obviously had a name that his mother gave him, but I called him CB. So when I tell my parents that I'm dating a man named Cornbread, my father is the first one to say, is he black or white? I was like, what?
You know how I eased into it? So the best way was, Mom, I'm going to bring home a young Korean boy for Christmas. What are you doing? No, it's a colored girl. It's okay. Thank God. Thank God.
You had to speak I understand you have to speak their language.
That is correct. You have to say the right terms. What do you mean she's black? So did you hurt her? Is she... No, she's just a little colored. Okay. All right.
And were your parents fine with that?
So my grandmother, one time at a family reunion, I showed up with wife number one, who was just very tan. Okay. And I said, Granny, this is Julie. And she goes, mm-hmm. This, we're going to get married. Mm-hmm. She's on TV in the morning. And my grandmother, fucking stone-faced, says, well, my TV doesn't get black and white, Christopher, and walks away. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
And that's when you got to say to her, well, you should get a colored TV.
Yeah, really. Really. With a hard D on the end.
Oh, my.
All right.
It's never been it really just has not been part of anything that, I don't know. It's bizarre to me.
But look, I've always said that my part of Maryland, where I grew up, was always in the north until it was in the south. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a lot like when when we lived in Virginia, there are parts of Virginia that are you go to Appomattox.
Oh dear.
They're still fighting the Civil War in Appomattox, Virginia.
Absolutely they are.
But you go to Northern Virginia, they don't give a shit. They just want money, money, money. I mean, and I lived in Central, pretty much North of Central, and pretty heavy racism. Well, the people who were racist were real racists, and the KKK was there. But then there were transplants, expats from New England or the North who weren't racist, and there was a big conflict between the whites who were racist and the whites who were not racist. And those whites didn't get along almost more than the whites who were racist against blacks got along with black people. They couldn't understand why other white people weren't carrying their water with them, saying, "Oh, well, you can't be you can't be talking to the ends. You can't let them into your house. They're bad."
I wish a motherfucker would.
Yeah, it's just they're just nuts. It's just nuts.
All right, you guys.
Hey, Chris. So, are you good now? You're well.
Yeah, sure.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good.
More to come.
That sounds,
News at 11.
Are you all settled into the new home?
More to come.
Okay.
Stuff we gotta talk about next week.
I have one more. I have to catch up on shit. Jess, what's going on with the roof?
More to come.
More to come.
Wow.
But the chimney has been fixed.
That's good.
I'm believing none of you guys are coming more.
Well, perhaps. We'll find out.
That's true.
I believe it's not happening. All right, y'all. I got to get going.
All right.
See you later.
Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.